Hi friends, it's me, Miss Annica. It's a beautiful day in Colorado, so I'm outside enjoying all the beautiful fresh spring air. I'm sitting right underneath one of my biggest trees in my own backyard. I'm just waiting for this tree to show me some few buds. It hasn't yet started to show them, but I know any day now I will start seeing some leaves appearing on branches, which is so exciting. Today, friends, for some story time, I thought I would read you a book about an unexpected visitor. Now, I know right now we don't have many friends or family members coming to our house, but I want you to imagine if somebody did come to your house and made a big, gigantic mess, how you would feel about it. This book is called Icky, Little Duckling, and our authors are Steve Smallman and Tim Warnes. I think I gave you a hint as to who that yucky little intruder is going to be. This fun, cute little duckling, right? Would you like a little duckling like that coming to visit your house? I think I might. He looks pretty cute. Icky Little Duckling. Mr. Rabbit liked everything to be just so. Every flower just so. Every pebble just so. Every leaf in the forest perfectly neat and just so. One day he was busy tidying when he found something smooth and speckly and perfect. "Oh, my whiskers!" he gasped. "You're just the thing for my collection." Mr. Rabbit found a perfect rock to go in his just so home. Do you have a spot for everything in your home? Do you like to collect things like that and have a spot you could just imagine would be perfect for it? Mr. Rabbit hurried home. He carefully washed the perfect speckly thing and placed it just so in the middle of his collection. He loved it. He often sat just polishing it and humming a happy little hum. Look at all of his books are just so on his bookcase. Looks like a very tidy place to be. But then one evening, crack! A jagged little line appeared down the side of Mr. Rabbit's perfect speckly thing. "Oh, my whiskers!" he gasped in horror. "Don't worry, we'll soon have you mended." What does Mr. Rabbit think happened to his rock? Does he think something broke? Is this rock a rock, I wonder? But it was too late. Crack! It broke in two. And out came something icky, sticky, and strange. Not just so at all. It looked up at Mr. Rabbit and said, "Mama? Mama!" Oh goodness, how do you think Mr. Rabbit is feeling? Would you be a little surprised if some treasure you found broke and opened up to reveal a little icky duckling? I would be pretty surprised. "What?" cried Mr. Rabbit. No, I am not your Mama," it said again, even louder. Then it hopped onto the floor, grabbed hold of Mr. Rabbit's leg, and wouldn't let go. "Yuck!" groaned Mr. Rabbit. He popped the icky, sticky thing into a big, bubbly bath. "First, you must be clean. We'll find your mama in the morning." Quack! Soon, there were bubbles on the floor, bubbles on Mr. Rabbit, and bubbles all over the burrow. Goodness me, gasped Mr. Rabbit. You're a duckling! Just now realized it, didn't he? I think he's thinking, this might be more trouble than I realized when I brought that rock home. Gurgle, urgle, urgle, went the duckling's stomach. Oh, bother, grumbled Mr. Rabbit. Now you're hungry. Do you like oatmeal? The little duckling didn't like oatmeal. She liked to sit in it, she liked to splash in it, and she liked to share it with Mr. Rabbit. Yuck! groaned Mr. Rabbit, and filled up the tub again. Mama. He kept his oatmeal perfectly organized, didn't he? But that duckling has other plans. Look at it all over poor Mr. Rabbit. Yawn, went the little duckling. Bedtime, thank goodness, cried Mr. Rabbit. It will soon be morning. He popped the duckling into a box and tucked her in just so. But the duckling didn't stay just so for long. Mama? Mr. Rabbit flopped into his chair. What a mess, he groaned. I'll tidy it up in the zzz. Mama? Whispered the little duckling. She scrambled onto Mr. Rabbit's lap, snuggled up, and fell fast asleep, too. It had been a long day for Mr. Rabbit. Do you like to curl up in your mommy and daddy's lap? Next morning, they set off to find the duckling. Next morning, they set off to find the duckling's mama. Here he is posting up a sign that says, Found one icky little duckling. Duckling found a stretchy thing, one spotted bug. Then she found a grumpy old prickly monster and had to have a hug from Mr. Rabbit. But they didn't find her mama. Shh! What is the little monster? A little porcupine? Back at home, Mr. Rabbit made some more oatmeal. The duckling found lots of lovely things to play with. Put those down, shouted Mr. Rabbit. Carefully. Oh, I hope we find your mama soon, he sighed. Look at all of poor Mr. Rabbit's things. That little duckling has taken out all of his treasures, all of his organized special things like his seashells, and dragged them all over the floor. Do you know anybody in your house that's messy like that? But they didn't find her the next day, or the day after that. Then one morning, down beside the stream, the duckling shouted, Mama! And this time she was right. She leaped to meet her family in a happy huddle of kisses and quacks. Then as Mr. Rabbit turned to leave, the little duckling jumped into his arms and gave him a great big feathery hug. Thank you so much, Mrs. Rabbit. Thank you so much, Mr. Rabbit, said Mrs. Duck. Back in his burrow, Mr. Rabbit scrubbed and polished until everything was as neat as before. His books were just so, his boxes were just so, and his collection was tip-top, totally just so. Do you think Mr. Rabbit is feeling relieved that that little duckling has left his house? He's back where he belongs. Does he look happy? He didn't feel right. Everything was just so, but he was just so lonely. Even his special things didn't seem so special anymore. Then Mr. Rabbit started to smile. "Oh, my whiskers," he cried. "I'll need lots of oatmeal." I wonder what Mr. Rabbit is thinking. Mr. Rabbit invited the duck family for breakfast. His burrow didn't stay neat for long, but it was filled with giggles and quacks and fun and friends, and Mr. Rabbit thought it was just perfect. Why do you think Mr. Rabbit changed his mind and wanted all those ducklings and all those ducks to be in his home, making a big mess? Do you think it's more fun to share your space and your favorite things with friends? I do. The end. Sometimes it's more fun to be messy, right? And sometimes it's more fun to share what we have with others. I hope you are having a very, very fun day at home with the people you love most. Goodbye, Rainbow Fish.